Welcome to the show. We're sort of crossing the Rubicon, in a sense, on the topic of impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. We have a new poll up on the community tab of the David Pakman Show YouTube channel asking what you think is going to happen. But we now have sitting senators who are calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump, not just at political events, but on the Senate floor. And I'm talking about Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is also running for president for the Democratic nomination in 2020. We've heard it from the House, but this is a much bigger deal because sitting active members of the Senate saying on the Senate floor that it's time for impeachment proceedings against the president of the United States to start is very different than a member of the House who, with peace and love, we respect and understand are important members of the American political establishment. This is a senator during live speeches on the House of the Senate. Take a look at Elizabeth Warren yesterday.
There's enough here to bring an impeachment proceeding. And for us, for this body, for Congress, to back up from that and to say that protecting the president is more important than protecting the Constitution is not only wrong, it is a violation of our oath of office. I'm here to say one more time publicly, this is not a fight I wanted to take on, but this is the fight in front of us now. This is not about politics. This is about the Constitution of the United States of America. We took an oath not to try to protect Donald Trump. We took an oath to protect and serve the Constitution of the United States of America. And the way we do that is we begin impeachment proceedings now against this president. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Sitting senators calling for impeachment of a sitting president is a big deal. Don't let, Trump will frame this as, who knows, wacky Pocahontas or whatever he likes to say about Elizabeth Warren. Remember how badly Republicans hated Barack Obama? I mean, deeply. They hated him, but they knew he didn't actually do anything worthy of impeachment. You had Senator John Kyle, who said about President Obama, impeachment is always a possibility, but no one is talking about that. He said that on a radio show about Barack Obama. You had Senator James Inhofe, who's out of his mind, who said Obama could be impeached over the supposed Benghazi cover-up. Turns out there was no such cover-up, and no one actually tried to impeach President Obama for that. No senators actually tried to do that. Senator Tom Coburn, during the Obama era, said in a political setting, Obama is getting close to having done enough to justify impeachment. It wasn't true, but that was at a town hall meeting. It wasn't on the floor of the Senate. If you go back to George W. Bush, for example, I mean, no senators, Democratic or Republican, were saying it's time to impeach George W. Bush. And the reason why is that senators on the floor of the Senate don't say that a president should be impeached if they actually haven't done anything worthy of it. Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, though, is taking a bit of a different approach. She is further resisting impeachment. She says Trump is goading us to impeach him, and then it would actually help Donald Trump to solidify his base. Now, I hate to break it to Nancy Pelosi, but Donald Trump's base is very solid, right? 28% of the country has already said they're definitely voting for Donald Trump in 2020. His base isn't moving, but that's more of a political calculation that Nancy Pelosi seems to be making. Elizabeth Warren is laying it out in clearer terms. This is not about politics. This is about facts and the law and the Constitution. The question of the political strategy is a legitimate one. And I think it's actually a question as to whether it is good political strategy to try to impeach Donald Trump. But the actions at this point are there. That's the reality. Now, that being said, no one should jump the gun on impeachment. Step one is just debate on the floor of the House of Representatives. That is just the first step here. Trump's administration won't even comply with the most minor oversight requests for records, for documents, for testimony. That is part of the obstruction for which this House floor debate on impeachment actually should be happening. Start the debate. Have the debate about impeachment in the House. use that to gather evidence, use that to publicize what it is that has been done, use it to get people to understand what's in the Mueller report, because as I've said before, too many Americans simply haven't read the Mueller report, and they're operating sort of under the guise of this no collusion, no obstruction PR campaign meme that Donald Trump and William Barr have pretty damn successfully mounted. So start the debate and use the debate in the House to collect the evidence, go where the evidence takes you. But it is time to formally start the impeachment debate on the floor of the House of Representatives, period. Get Robert Mueller to the House and have him answer the question, would Donald Trump be facing criminal obstruction charges if he was not president of the United States? Mueller will, of course, give a diplomatic, non-committal answer and say, oh, that's a hypothetical. But he won't be able to say no. The president would not be facing obstruction charges if he were not president of the United States, because the answer is yes. Trump would be indicted for obstruction if he were not a sitting president. Good for Elizabeth Warren for calling it for what it is. Let's now see if other senators join her. There are other senators, Democratic senators, who are running for president. Some of them have said in non-Senate settings that they believe that the time, at least for the debate about impeachment, is here. Let's hear from Kamala Harris on the floor of the Senate. Let's hear from Cory Booker on the floor of the Senate and see if we can get multiple sitting senators saying in open Senate session, it is time to start impeachment proceedings, if not at least impeachment debate about the president of the United States. Do not let Trump trick you into believing that this is just no big deal. This is very rare. This doesn't often happen during in American politics to presidents of the United States. It's a big deal, and we're going to be paying attention to it. Today's sponsor is Skillshare, and I'm excited to tell you that everybody in our audience is getting 2 entire months of free access to Skillshare when you click the link underneath this video. Skillshare is the site that offers over 25,000 online courses on almost any topic you can imagine: cooking, meditation, photography, video editing, Photoshop, managing a small business, almost an endless list. And whether you're trying to get ahead in your career, maybe you want to learn new skills that will make you better at your job, you might just be exploring a new hobby and you're trying to find new ways to be creative in your personal time, Skillshare's the perfect place to fully immerse yourself in whatever you're trying to learn. I really enjoyed the class on more advanced video editing techniques because it's something I've been wanting to improve at, but have been very busy hosting the David Pakman Show for the last few years. Once again, the David Pakman Show is giving you 2 whole months of access to every single class offered by Skillshare. After those 2 months, if you want to keep your subscription, Skillshare's super affordable at less than $10 a month. Get better at whatever it is that you're passionate about, or discover something brand new that you didn't even know that you would love, and join Skillshare's other 7 million users by clicking the link underneath this video.